Hey everyone, Mah-Dry-Bread here. Follow 3 with only silencers was surprisingly slow. Let's follow that up with one that I think will be a fast one. Today's the day that we figure out, would I be able to beat Pokemon Red only using Nightshade and Seismic Toss? Alright, so I'm just gonna say right up front that this idea is probably gonna end up with a really dumb run, but I'm really curious about it. So, Seismic Toss and Nightshade in Gen 1 do the same thing, other than a slight power point difference. They both deal our level in damage to the enemy. So, if we're level 5, we do 5 damage. If we're level 100, we do 100 damage. Defense and special defense don't get factored into it. So, we're really great at fighting Pokemon that have low max health, but terrible at fighting ones that have high max health. Also, in Gen 1, both moves ignored type immunities, so they really do work the same way. Like always, I'm writing this script as I go through with the challenge, so all this part is being written before I've started. Everyone comment down below and guess if I can win or not. I'm convinced that I can win and that the early game is gonna be pretty easy, but I could see the Elite Four themselves being a nightmare. Once high health Pokemon become common, our attack is really gonna drop off in usefulness. Let's explain the rules. In combat, I can only use Nightshade and Seismic Toss. I'll need other Pokemon to use HMs, but I won't be allowed to use any of those Pokemon in battle. No glitches or exploits, no items in battle, only Pokeballs and items outside of combat are allowed. Also, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more. Let's do this. So right off the bat, I used the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Bulbasaur with Ghastly so that we can start with Nightshade. This is the only Pokemon in the game that starts with either move, so that's why I picked it. I name him Coughing, like in the good old days. So while we go through the forest, let's talk a little bit about how I think the early game is gonna go. Brock should be super easy since his rock types don't have very much health and can't hit us with anything outside of Bide. Yeah, Bide hits ghosts in Gen 1, it's a little weird. Outside of that though, I'm really not sure. The biggest problem up front is that we only have 15 power points. That's for sure gonna cause us long-term problems. We can't catch any more Pokemon that learn Nightshade or Seismic Toss until we're past the Cerulean rival fight, and even then they would be far too low of a level to know either move. I think that means that we're gonna get stuck with just one Ghastly for a long time. I don't think we could get away with just using a Ghastly the whole game, but maybe with some PowerPoint ups it would work. We'll have to find out. Hey, we can evolve it too! I didn't even think about that when I planned out this run. You know what? The more I think about it, the better I feel about this run. Let's go beat Brock. Yeah, that was super easy. We got in there at level 12 and mopped the floor with them. You know, if I was even one level lower, Onyx probably would have survived and hit Bide to make us faint. I mean, we still easily would have won at level 11 if he just didn't use Bide right away, but he did almost make us faint there. Travel right now goes about how you'd think. Enemies are easy and can rarely hit us, but we also need to go back to the Poke Centers for more power points pretty often. Something insane happened at the end though. Check this out. Ekans uses Wrap, it says it doesn't affect us, but then the next 2 turns, we lose our turn as if Wrap worked, but we still don't take any damage during that. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Does Wrap always do this to ghosts in Gen 1 and I've just never noticed? Well, it's not dangerous, so I doubt it's anything to worry about. Let's go see how Misty's water gym goes. On our way though, I took the Helix Fossil. I knew that if I didn't say what I took, you'd all ask. Actually, now that I think about it, everyone ask anyway. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. So the water gym was funny because we had no excuse to win. Like seriously, if they just used Water Gun every turn, we would have easily lost, but Misty didn't clock in on this being a Nightshade run and decided to use X-Defend. Twice. Good job, Misty. And the rival fight right after goes great too. They didn't even hurt us. They just don't have the right moves to deal with us yet. Wait until he gets Kadabra, then the rival might be hard. Alright, we're back on the road. So the trainers around Nugget Bridge aren't hard, although a lot more trainers have at least one move that can hit us now. Power points are still our biggest issue. I made sure to pick up the TM for Seismic Toss that's up there. Now, weirdly enough, we can't teach it to our Ghastly, since it can only learn the move after it becomes a Gengar, and we can't trade, so we can't have that happen. Gengar is a trait evolution after all. Now, pretty much any Pokemon with arms can learn Seismic Toss by TM in this game, but I have a specific one in mind that I really want to use. It's a secret for now though, see if you can guess in the comments. You probably won't. Let's not waste any time at the SSN, I want to go straight for the rival fight. Yeah, the rival fight was pretty easy. I was right to rush for it. He did burn me near the end though. I think that's the most anyone's done to us. Hey, how's the electric gym gonna go? Think we'll get paralyzed? Okay, so this one only took a couple of tries because on the first one, we lost due to getting paralyzed a lot. But on the second one, it goes okay. We almost fainted against Raichu, but it's only because he used Thunderbolt twice, and that's actually kinda rare. I bet you on most tries we would not have gotten hit that hard. We're on our way through Rock Tunnel. I don't think anything here can stop us, so let's talk about upcoming stuff. I'm thinking that I'm gonna go straight to the Rocket Hideout as soon as I get to Cerulean. I don't think we really need levels that badly, but there's some PowerPoint ups near there that I want to get, and I think that Giovanni is going to be the easiest upcoming boss, so that's what I'm doing first. Plus, the sooner I can get the Sylph Scope is the sooner I can get the next Pokemon that I want. I bet you still haven't guessed it. Yeah, Giovanni was easy as expected. Hey, why is it when rocks are thrown at a ghost, they hit, but when a snake made of rocks uses tackle, it misses? Isn't the Onyx throwing itself at the opponent? And it's made of rocks? It is throwing rocks? Like rock throw? That hits the ghost. I can't reason with Game Freak. So the grass gym fight was really easy, but there was something interesting about it. Okay, first it seemed like Rap didn't stick while we were asleep since he was picking it more than once. But as soon as we woke up, we were trapped in it. The second thing is that Tangela using Bind works the same way. This is truly the Gen 1 experience. The Pokemon Tower rival fight was pretty easy, but I think that's just because we lucked out and Hydro Pump missed. I know that our special is pretty good, but if that hit, then there's a reasonable chance that we could have lost the fight. Now that we can finally get our hands on a Super Rod, it's time to get our second Pokemon. So first we go back to Celadon City to fish in the pond until we catch a Poliwhirl, then I use a Water Stone from the shop right away to turn it into Polywrath. We teach it Seismic Toss, and there we go! It's our new Pokemon. It's not as high of a level as Haunter, but Poliwrath's stats are decent, a little weaker than usual in the special department in Gen 1, but to be completely honest, I just want to use a Poliwrath. I don't even know if I'm gonna use it, but it's nice to have, I guess? Who knows, maybe I'll really need to switch into it and have it take hits or something, but to be honest, the farther I'm going on, the more I realize I think it makes more sense to just level one Pokemon. You know, since experience share doesn't exist. Let's go take out Koga. So the Poison Gym went alright, but not as well as I thought it would. I figured that since we're Poison type, it would probably be really easy and they'd just end up blowing up or something, but I guess their AI is good enough that they won't try a normal move on me. That's funny, considering Erica was still trying normal moves. Anyway, we lost half of our health from all the moves that did hit, and that was us resisting them. That has me a little worried. You know we have to go straight to the Fire Gym next, though. Silphco can wait. Can I beat the Fire Gym while massively underleveled just by spamming Nightshade with one Haunter? Okay, you need to see this. Growlithe just spams Agility because he thinks it's Psychic type and thus good against us, so he goes down easily, but wastes a lot of our power points with Super Potions. Ponyta was a bit more dangerous since it's got Fire Spin. That works like Gen 1 Rap, so we lose some turns and take some damage. Rapidash also did Fire Spin all the time, so by the time that we were done with it, we were running a little bit low on health and power points. Still, if they did Fire Blast, that would have been worse. Arcanine was last, and for once it's spamming fire moves instead of Roar, since it won't use Roar on ghosts. I mean, it's a stupid reason to not use Roar, but that makes him way harder than usual. And even in spite of all of that, we still won because he missed his high accuracy Fire Blast and he chose to use Ember a bunch of times when simply using Fire Blast again would have made him win. Yeah, I'm starting to come around to the idea that Blaine is on our side and he just wants the challenge videos to be fun. Blaine's a bro. Alright, so we're in Silphco and I think we're about to hit our brick wall. See, the gym battles haven't looked too hard, but I gotta be honest, the trainers in the gyms have been giving me problems recently. It just takes so many hits to make anything faint. We're running low on power points all the time. The rival fight in here is almost always hard, but I think it's really gonna destroy us this time. We might have to actually intentionally grind for the first time in this run if it doesn't go great. Okay, to save you a bunch of time on just me saying that I used Nightshade over and over, we got to Alakazam on most attempts. We need a bit of luck to get here, but I never made it past Alakazam. Yeah, he could just spam Reflect or whatever, but I never had that kind of luck, and he tends to take out Haunter pretty easily. Not only that, but Water Onyx has Dragon Rage, so sometimes he won't even make it this far. Polywrath just gets one-shot by Psybeam due to being part fighting type, so I don't think it's gonna save us here. I'll clear out the place for levels and then come back. Okay, so I'm back about 6 or 7 levels later, and I tried a bunch more times. Something kind of annoying that I've noticed is that because I only do 1 more damage per level up, the individual level ups don't really mean much for damage. You see, in other runs, if I was taking someone down in 3 hits because I was dealing almost half their health and damage, then I'd know that less than 5 level ups will fix that. In this though, 5 level ups would just be 5 more damage per hit, and that probably is not gonna help you against the kind of high health Pokemon that are the problem. I'm convinced that at this point, with just the right luck, we could beat Alakazam. But I don't know how we'd take Charizard out right after. I think I should still grind a bit. Oh man, this is brutal. So we're all the way at level 56 now, and we leave so many of his Pokemon with a sliver, so we're taking loads of extra hits. We go even farther than before though, because we're taking noticeably less damage. Feels kind of weird to be grinding to become more tanky rather than grinding to do more damage. Alakazam used Confusion and didn't crit, so we were able to survive and finish him off, but Charizard burned us, so we ended up losing when Charizard had less than 10% of his health left. Polywrath is still too trash at this level. I wish experience share was in this game. Okay, one last grind and this should be easy. Alright, all the way at level 61 and we're finally getting more 2-shots. Between that and Alakazam using Confusion instead of something much stronger, we finally got a much needed win. Oh, and Giovanni didn't hit us. Not even once. We have a ground gym fight coming up against him, and you'd think he'd be a threat since we're weak to ground moves, but I'm pretty sure it's just Fissure and Dig. He didn't even have those moves here though, so it was easy. Now the Psychic Gym had me really worried from the start since we're obviously part Poison type. The whole fight was tense because I knew Alakazam crits all the time and I was just praying he'd use Psywave. He ended up going with Psybeam instead, but it didn't crit, so we held on and took him out. I don't like how close it was though. The Ground Gym on the other hand went exactly how you would expect. We got hit once, it was by Dig, and it did a lot of damage but it couldn't take us out. I mean, Dugtrio easily could have crit, and that would have done the trick, but he didn't, so we were good. Time for the rival again. Alright, so Pidgeot has agility, so it just spams that. An awesome start for us. Next is Rhyhorn, who can't hit us with any damaging moves, although Tail Whip can hit. Third is Execute, and this one can be really annoying since he uses Leech Seed. That's fine though. I just go ahead and switch to Poliwrath, let Solar Beam take him out, and then Haunter can outspeed and finish him off when he comes back in. Water Onyx is next, and I've lost a few tries at this thanks to Hydro Pump critting, but this time he uses Dragon Rage twice. I think that did almost the same as a critical Hydro Pump, weirdly enough. Alakazam could have finished us off, but he used Reflect, so he was a 2-shot, and last was Charizard. I was really worried after his first flamethrower burned us, but we ended up surviving the fight with only 10 health left. It's nice to get a win, but I don't like how close that was. Okay, well, we're in Victory Road. I feel like there's so much to talk about. We have the Elite Four coming up, and I'm pretty sure that we can't beat the whole thing quite yet, so that brings up the question of what the solution is. Well, we can't get any different moves, and held items don't exist yet, so all we can do to get better is to level up. But what's gonna get us the win fastest? Do we get more out of piling every level onto Haunter until his damage output is decent and hope the high level will result in enough defense and health to survive everything? Or should we be investing in Poliwrath to have 2 Pokemon who do less damage in total, but it gives us 2 separate health bars to work with? We could potentially last longer in a rival fight that way, but then again we would deal less damage and neither Pokemon would be as high of a level. Well, if I grinded Poliwrath, then this would take way longer than if I just grinded Haunter. There's no experience share in this game, just experience all, and it doesn't do us any good because we need to catch 50 Pokemon to be able to get it, and that would take us so long that we may as well just be grinding. I guess that I could use rare candies, but on Poliwrath, that would be a disaster. Effort values weren't a thing yet in Gen 1, but they've got stat experience. That works in kind of a similar way. I think that our Poliwrath has literally no stat experience. I don't think I've gotten this guy to faint anything. So I think that means his rare candy level ups are going to be really bad. So yeah, his damage output will be predictable, but his health and defense will be low for a Polywrath. I think for now it makes more sense to focus on Haunter. Now that we're at the Elite Four, let's take a look at our team. Well, our special is crazy high, so I'm not really worried about getting hit by special moves. We're also pretty fast, but that lower defense does have me a little bit worried. That said, I think that most of the Pokemon that we're going to be fighting don't have any rock or ground moves, so I might not have to worry about our defense at all. That makes me think I can win this with just Haunter, and that's good because our Polywrath straight up sucks. He's the same level as when I caught him. Really, his best use is that I need a Pokemon to switch into to get rid of things like Leech Seed. Make your final guesses on if we can win this or not. Let's do this. First is Ice Trainer Lorelei. Okay, this is a weird one. It was all really easy until Jinx, who did tons of damage to us. I thought we'd be doomed against Lapras, but for some reason she just used Confuse Ray, even though she could easily finish us off with Surf. Well, alright. I guess I'm cool with that. You know, we used a lot of power points in that fight. I hope I picked up enough items to keep us from running out for the rest of the run. Second is Fighting Trainer Bruno. This one was super easy because his Pokemon all have low health, so we can two-shot them. Plus, only one of them could even lay a hand on us, and he did basically nothing. Third is Ghost Trainer Agatha. Now this one took a few tries just because we always get confused, and that can be a nightmare, but it wasn't long before we had an easy fight. It drained basically all of our power points again, and they only hit us with Nightshade a few times in return. Overall, it wasn't horrible. Fourth is Dragon Trainer Lance. After fighting the Water Onyx at the start, who can hit us pretty hard, the entire rest of the fight is comedically easy, as Lance thinks agility is super effective against us, so it's all he uses for most of his team. I can't believe we're this far and we're not even level 70 yet. Finally, the Pokemon Champion. Hey, if you're sensitive to flashing lights, you might want to look away, cause Gen 1 is weird and turns battle animations on automatically for the final battle, and Nightshade is brutal with flashing lights, especially if you're looking at sped up footage like you are right now. Anyway, Pidgeot goes okay, but we lost a lot of attempts right away because of him hitting Sky Attack. If he hits that, it really messes us up, and then we can't survive the Alakazam right after. Speaking of, next is Alakazam, and he's exactly as horrible as you would expect. We lost to the 1-2 punch of him and Pidgeot at least 6 times before he used the right moves and we won, but we only had a sliver of health left. Next was Rhydon, who literally couldn't hurt us, so we could just take him out easily. And next is Exeggutor, who also can't hurt us. Yeah, he used to be a lot more dangerous in the previous fights when he had Leech Seed, but because he can only use Stomp and Barrage to damage us, and both of those are normal types, all he can really do is put us to sleep for almost a full minute to stall us. It's funny, usually this Exeggutor is more of a problem because he constantly puts you to sleep, but he couldn't hit us. Anyway, he went down and Water Onyx came out, so we finally fainted. I mean, it was inevitable, right? We had a sliver and there were Pokemon left on his team with 100 accuracy moves. It had to happen eventually. I'm gonna do that thing where I go fight the Elite Four a few times for some levels, and then try the Pokemon Champion fight each time I get there. Okay, a crazy 10 levels later. Now we still lose on a ton of attempts at this level, but one was pretty magical, so I've gotta show it to you. Pidgeot used Wing Attack on the first turn and started building up for Sky Attack on the second turn. That's perfect because those are the exact 2 moves for him to use to do the least possible damage to us. Next was Alakazam, who used Reflect twice, again, the exact perfect moves to leave us with way more health than ever before. Rhydon and Exeggutor still can't hurt us, so now we're back to the Water Onyx that made us faint. He did a lot of damage to us by hitting Dragon Rage twice, so we're in yellow health as he goes down. Last is Charizard, and right away he uses Fire Spin. It's mildly annoying that he wastes a few turns, but it's easily his least dangerous move that he'll actually use on a ghost type, so I'm really thankful that he did it. We nearly took him out when he hit us with a Fire Blast. I was petrified that we'd faint, but we didn't. We got burned from it, but still managed to finish him off and win the run. That was actually really fun. You know, this might be fun in other generations too. Yeah, type immunities might make it a nightmare, but I could see an experience share really changing how I'd play a run like this. I really hope you guys like that run. The next Pokemon Challenge should be up next week on Saturday like usual, with Pokemon Platinum with only one Regigigas. Yes, seriously, You guys have been asking for it for 3 years. It's finally time that I do it. As always, I'm looking forward to your suggestions in the comments, in the challenge request section of my Discord channel, and on Twitter. Subscribe, ring the bell, stay tuned. Alright, it's the outro, and I know exactly what I'm talking about this time. It is, what is it, 2 o'clock? It's 2 p.m. on August 15th, 2023. It's a Tuesday. And I'm happy to report that after, I think a month of waiting for the old fridge to be removed, after waiting, I don't know, another month for the new fridge to be delivered before that, the fridge has finally been picked up today. The fridge saga is over. I know you were all eagerly awaiting updates on the fridge saga. I literally had people tweeting me, asking me for updates on my fridge, which is insanity to me. I'm happy that you're also invested, and I'm happy that the old dead fridge is finally out of my house. And now a wasp nest started outside of the front door, so that's the next thing to tackle. The problems never end. Thank you everybody so much for watching, and until next time, have a nice day.